It was a quiet night at Mary's Diner, a small restaurant just outside Willow Creek. It had been around for many years and was a favorite stop for truck drivers, travelers, and local people. But that night felt different. There was tension in the air. Emily Carter, a young woman in her early 20s, sat alone in a corner booth. She was slim, with long auburn hair tied in a ponytail, wearing jeans and a hoodie. She was waiting for her father, a man who was once a local hero. His name was John Carter, a retired Marine who had lost his sight in combat. Even though he was blind, he never let it hold him back. He was tough, determined, and above all, a loving father. Emily checked her phone to see the time. Her dad should be arriving soon. Just then, the door opened, and the mood in the diner shifted. A group of bikers walked in. They wore leather jackets with skull designs and heavy boots that thudded on the wooden floor. They were part of a well-known gang called the Iron Serpents. Rough men with tattoos and dangerous looks. They sat at the bar, ordered beers, and started laughing loudly. Soon, they noticed Emily sitting alone. One of them, a big guy with a beard and a snake tattoo on his neck, nudged his friend. "Hey, look at this one sitting all alone," he said with a smirk. Another, bald with a scar on his cheek, chuckled. "Pretty girl like that might need some company." Emily felt nervous. She gripped her phone and tried to ignore them, hoping they'd go away. But the bearded man got up and walked over. He leaned in close, and she could smell his greasy breath. "You lost, sweetheart?" he sneered. "Or waiting for someone?" Emily looked him in the eye, not showing fear. "I'm meeting my father." The biker laughed and looked at his friends. "Her daddy, huh? What's he gonna do, tell me off?" They laughed. The biker grabbed the menu from her hands and tossed it on the floor. That was the last straw. Emily had seen her dad fight through worse. She wasn't going to let these guys scare her. Calmly, she took out her phone, dialed, and said in a foam voice, "Hey, Dad, I need you at the diner now." The bikers laughed. "Oh no, she's calling her daddy. We're so scared," the bearded one joked. What they didn't know was who her father really was. A few minutes later, heavy boots sounded outside. The door opened. John Carter walked in. He wasn't huge or scary looking. He wore jeans, a dark jacket, and old boots. His eyes were hidden behind sunglasses, and he held a white cane. The bikers laughed again. "This is him?" one joked. John didn't say anything at first. He stepped forward slowly, tilted his head as if sensing them, then spoke in a steady voice. "Emily, are you okay?" "I am now," she replied. John nodded and faced the bikers. "You boys don't know who you're messing with." The bearded biker sneered. "Looks like you don't even know where you're standing." Then suddenly, John moved. He flipped his cane and hit the bearded biker right in the chest. The man stumbled back, shocked. "What the?" another biker shouted. John shifted his stance. He may have been blind, but his senses were sharp. Years of training taught him to fight without sight. When another biker lunged at him, John stepped aside and slammed his elbow into the man's back, sending him crashing into a table. The other bikers froze. This wasn't what they expected. They thought John was helpless, but he was a warrior. "I've fought men twice as dangerous as you," John said coldly. "In the dark, in the jungle, in the desert. You're just cowards." The bearded biker got up, gasping. "Let's get out of here," he muttered. One by one, the Iron Serpents left, their pride broken. They had come looking for trouble, but got humiliated by a man who didn't even need to see them to beat them. Silence filled the diner. The other customers, who had been watching, began whispering. Emily looked at her father with pride. "You didn't have to do that." John smiled. "No one messes with my daughter." He sat down. "Now let's eat." From that night on, the legend of John Carter grew, and the Iron Serpents never returned to Willow Creek. The Iron Serpents' revenge. But the Iron Serpents weren't just embarrassed. They were furious. At their hideout, an old warehouse outside town, they nursed their wounds. Rocco, the bearded biker, slammed a whiskey bottle down. "That blind guy made us look like fools. We can't let this go," growled Viper, the gang leader, a tall man with a skull tattoo and cruel eyes. "If people hear we got beaten by a blind man, no one will respect us." Another biker with a scar slammed his fist on the table. "Let's go after the girl." Rocco hesitated. "That guy? He's not normal. He beat us without seeing." Viper sneered. "You scared?" Rocco shook his head. "Good," Viper said. "Then we do this our way. We grab the girl and let her dad know who he messed with." The gang agreed. The plan was on. A father's warning. Emily didn't know what was coming. The next day, she went to work at the bookstore. She still felt proud of her dad, but deep down, she was a little worried. Would the bikers try something? While she was putting books away, her phone buzzed. It was her dad. "Hey, Dad," she answered. His voice was calm but serious. "Emily, where are you?" "At work." "Why?" "I have a bad feeling," John said. "I don't think those bikers are done. I want you to come home now. I'll meet you outside." Emily's heart raced. "Okay, I'll leave in 5 minutes." What she didn't know was that 5 minutes was too long. The kidnapping. Emily walked into the parking lot. It was quiet. As she headed to her car, she heard footsteps behind her. Suddenly, someone grabbed her from behind. She gasped, trying to break free, but a hand covered her mouth. "Gotcha, sweetheart," Rocco whispered. She struggled, kicked, but they were too strong. A black van screeched to a stop, and they shoved her inside. The door slammed shut. The van sped away. Emily screamed, but no one heard. John Carter's fury. John arrived at the bookstore soon after. Something felt wrong. He smelled oil and burnt rubber. He heard distant motorcycle engines. And he noticed Emily's car was still there, but she wasn't. His hand clenched around his cane. Then his phone rang. Unknown number. "John Carter?" a voice sneered. "We've got your little girl." John's blood went cold, but his voice stayed calm. "You just made the biggest mistake of your lives." Tough words for a blind man. "If you want her back, you'll do what we say." John asked, "Where is she?" "You'll find out. We'll be in touch." Click. The hunt begins. John didn't call the police. He didn't have time. He had something better. His instincts, training, and an old friend. An hour later, he sat in a black SUV with Jake Mercer, a tough, loyal ex-Marine. "You sure about this?" Jake asked. "They're dangerous." "So am I," John replied. With info from local contacts, they tracked the gang to a warehouse outside town. As they parked, John leaned forward. He heard laughter, bottles clinking, and voices. Emily was inside, and he was going in. A reckoning. The Iron Serpents were celebrating. Emily sat tied to a chair, her eyes full of fire. "You have no idea what's coming," she said. Viper laughed. "We do. Your daddy's blind. What's he gonna do? Trip over something?" Then came a noise. A thud. Then another. Silence fell. "Hey, what the—" someone started. Suddenly, the lights went out. A shadow moved. One biker was pulled into the dark, gone. Another slammed into a table. Panic spread. "What's going on?" Viper grabbed his gun. Too late. A cane hit his wrist, sending the gun flying. John Carter moved like a ghost. He heard every breath, every step. One by one, the bikers fell. When it was over, only Viper was left, lying on the ground. John knelt beside him. "Where's my daughter?" Viper pointed. John stood and went into the next room. "Dad!" Emily shouted. He cut the ropes and hugged her. "You okay?" She nodded. "I knew you'd come." John turned to Viper. "Tell your gang, if they ever come near my daughter again, next time they won't get up." Viper ran, terrified. He knew John wasn't making a threat. He was making a promise. And that night, the Iron Serpents learned a lesson they'd never forget. Never mess with John Carter's daughter.